So why did you want to write a book about Monty Hellman's Cockfighter?
Well, writing a book about Cockfighter it's kind of funny because people ask me that all the time. They're like, why would you want to write a book about that movie? So I was obsessed with the character that Warren Oates plays in the film. So that was really kind of the beginning of it. I was like obsessed with his character who does not talk for the whole film. He takes a vow of silence. And when the film starts, we're already like 2 years into his vow of silence. And so I was really fascinated by just first of all, the idea of a guy who would just decide not to talk anymore until he accomplishes such and such goal, which in this case is him winning the Cockfighter of the Year award. He's like, I'm not going to talk until I win this award. But it's not even an award that's given out every year. So it's an indeterminate amount of time that he has to commit to in not talking. And so there was something I found super fascinating about that, but also just the milieu that it takes place in, the sort of cockfighting world of the South, how it has all these, it has like its own value system and honor codes and stuff like this that I found really fascinating. And a lot of times when you have sort of closed communities or subcultures and stuff, there is all this like minutia, that a normal person wouldn't, who's from outside of that community wouldn't know about. And so films like Cockfighter that bring you into like kind of an obscure subculture, and have all that detail and texture and everything. I mean, that's just like an interesting type of movie to me, but also the fact that it was specifically cockfighting because it's such a barbaric sport, and yet it's there's also something very beautiful about it when it's happening, and so there was a lot of really mixed aesthetics in the film too, between sort of ugliness and beauty, and as a lifelong horror fan, that's something that I can relate to a lot. So I feel as though I was able to, like a lot of people would just be completely turned off by a film like Cockfighter, but I feel like all my experience watching horror films my whole life made it so that the sort of more confrontational aspects of the film were not something that I would get stuck on or stumble over. Like I'm kind of bred to be able to deal with harsh material like that. So I was able to just go right into this kind of character studies of the film. And it's based on a book by Charles Wilford. And I became very interested in Charles Wilford and his book and his other books, and sort of repeating patterns throughout his books as part of working on this project also. So the book is not just about Monty Hellman's film Cockfighter, it's also about Charles Wilford's book of Cockfighter, and it's also about the sport of cockfighting itself.